So Jim takes it down to Dr. Livesey, um, and Dr. Livesey is at the house of the Squire. The Squire is a mayor, basically the same thing as a mayor back in England, except he was not elected. He was appointed, meaning that he had had some friend in the government who'd appointed him. So he's more of a like a people person than like a really smart guy. He's not a really good leader. He's more of just you know, he knows how to work politics basically. Well, what happens is, look at my notes here that I was going back over the story again. Um, what happened was they get there and they open up the oilskin, and so it's Jim and uh, his mom is there, and Dr. Livesey and the Squire Trelawney is his name. Well, they open it up and they see that there's a bunch of papers in there, and one of them is a map. Uh, it's a map of an island, and it's a map of an island, and it has a spot where there's an X and says bulk of treasure here. And on the map there is longitude and latitude, which says where it's at in the world, right? And they're like, huh, wonder what that is, pirate's treasure, whatever. Coordinates is what they're actually called. So they're looking at it, and the other papers have a bunch of writing on them. There's and the writing is really interesting. What it says is to give you an example, it says Port Opulence, August 1778, taken 45 pounds gold, 52 pounds silver, 2 diamond rings, 1 jade necklace. And there's pages like that. There's over 2 full pages of stuff like that. And so they're looking at it and they're like, this is ridiculous, right? The first thing that they're like, no way. They think that they're like, this is some kind of joke, or this person is exaggerating. You're not going to have 45 pounds of gold even once in your life, let alone all these different times on this sheet, right? But then Dr. Livesey goes, now, Jim, did you say that this chest belonged to that pirate? And Jim goes, oh, no, I forgot to tell you. This is Jim saying. Jim's like, I forgot to tell you because I was so scared with the pirates chasing us and all that kind of stuff. He's like, no, just before he died, Bill Bones, the pirate, said that this wasn't his, that he had taken it from his captain. Captain Flint. It was Captain Flint. And when he says the name Captain Flint, Trelawney, the Squire, and Dr. Livesey are both like, "Whoa! Shut up!" And Jim's like, what did I say? He's like, did you say Flint? Captain Flint? And Jim's like, yeah, I never heard of him. Right? And they go, that's right. You don't read the papers, do you? You being a boy, you don't keep up with what's going on. And Jim's like, no, I mean, just, my dad was sick. I was worried about the inn. I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, Captain Flint is the most feared pirate for 100 years. If you read the papers, you'd find out that, Jim, these numbers are not an exaggeration. He goes into places and he takes that much gold and that much silver, and he kills a lot of people in the process. If this really is his treasure, those numbers are no joke.
And also, Captain Flint was just recently captured and got hanged, so they know that he is dead.
And so Jim's like, oh, all right, that worked, right? Um, so Trelawney, the squire, is like, yes, let's do it. We have the coordinates. Let's go. I'll get a ship ready and everything. And Dr. Livesey's like, okay, let's do it. So they send the squire to go to Bristol. Bristol is where you can like rent ships and stuff like that. It's a seaport, but it's a bigger seaport than the one Jim lives in. So he goes down to Bristol to get a ship and a crew and get everything ready. Well, he goes and does that, and the um, it's taken a lot longer than Jim thought. Jim's actually starting to get a little bit ticked off because he wants to go, right? And it's taken like a few months, but finally, they get a letter, and it's from the squire, and it says that the squire has a ship. It is called the Sound Ship Hispaniola. Sorry, he's got the ship Hispaniola ready. He's got a crew. Everything is good. So Jim says goodbye to his mom, which is pretty sad, right? But he does it, and he goes down there. They go to, but when they get there, they find out that the reason that it took a long time to get the ship is because it was hard to find one, but eventually he found a good ship called the Hispaniola, and he found a really good captain, Captain Smollett. And after he had gotten Captain Smollett, he knew he needed a crew. So Trelawney started going out to all the taverns and stuff like that looking for a crew. Well, basically, he was going into these taverns like, hey, remember this guy likes to be like all awesome, right? So Trelawney was basically going into the taverns like, hey, everybody, I have an adventure for anyone who would like an adventure. I can't say what it is, but I'll tell you it'll be very lucrative. You're going to make a lot of money. I can't say what, wink, wink, but let's just say there's a lot of money to be had on this little trip. So he is, well, he does find a guy who says, I would like to be the cook of this ship. I was a salty dog back in my time, and I want to be your cook. And he hires this person to be his cook. This guy is awesome. He is kind of a tall, skinny guy, but the guy has had a lot of experience and he knows a lot of sailors. So very quickly, this guy got him a whole crew full of people, and they were ready because of this guy who basically set him up. The guy has one leg, and his name is John Silver, and he goes by Long John Silver. So they find that out, and so Dr. Livesey's like, okay, let's go see the ship. So they go see the ship. They get on the ship, and the crew is there. But the minute they get on the ship, Captain Smollett is like, they get on, and he's like, Captain Smollett goes, Squire Trelawney, are these our other companions? And the Squire's like, yes, this is Jim Hawkins, and this is Dr. Livesey. And the Squire the captain starts to complain. He's like, look, I don't like this one bit. I think this crew is sketchy. I'm not liking a lot of stuff that's going on here. And also, there's been too much talk of this map and this treasure. And Livesey and Jim look at Trelawney like, what the freak, right? You should have kept your mouth shut. And Trelawney's like, what? I didn't say anything about treasure. I don't even know what you're talking about. And the captain's like, yeah, like you had to, right? It was only obvious. And everybody's been talking about a map and treasure. And the squire's like, how dare you speak to me like that? I'm your boss, right? And the captain goes, no, sir, you may have hired me, but I'm the captain of this ship. So what I say on this ship goes. And if you have a problem with that, well, fine, fire me. I don't care. But you got to realize I'm the captain of this ship. And Trelawney's like, no, it's just not even. No. I'm going to get somebody else. Finally, Dr. Livesey goes in. Dr. Livesey says, hey, I'm sure we're fine. I know, that Captain Smollett's a good captain. And actually, the fact that he is being stern with his crew is a good sign. So he's like, let's just get this. So they they chill out. They get on. Um, uh, Captain Smollett says, "Oh, here comes John Silver." So up the plank comes John Silver. He's got he's got a crutch and a wooden leg, and he comes up and he gets on the ship, and Jim looks at him and he's like, "This guy doesn't. This can't be the same. Um, this can't be the same one-legged guy that Bill Bones was talking about because." I mean, John Silver's he's well kept, he's clean, he's like well shaven. He's got one leg, but he's like got a big smile on his face, and he seems like a really cool guy. And he comes up and he starts talking to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm glad to be on this ship as a cook." He's like, "I had my day, but now I can't, go around and do the ropes. So, but I can get me around the kitchen just fine." And he even like he's really cool, and he even like makes a joke. Uh, they're like, "Are you able to? Do you not slip? On your wood and your crutch?" And Long John Silver's like, "No." He's like, "Oh, of course I don't slip. I may not be as fast as you guys, but I'm more sturdy. See, look, you've only got two places that you contact with the deck. I got three. I'm more sturdy than you guys are, right? Being with the crutch and stuff." And they laugh, and Jim is like certain. He's like, nah, this guy fits the description of the person that Bill Bones was scared of, but this guy's not scary. This guy's really cool. He's like funny. He's awesome, right? It's like, so it must have been somebody else. Well, they get going, and everything is okay. Um, they're on their way, uh, and Dr. Livesey actually comes up to Squire Trelawney as they're going, and he's like, "Squire, I have to admit, I don't always, you know, like the decisions you've made, but I do like Long John Silver. That's a good man. It's a really um. So, uh, sorry, head live, I guess. That's right. So, anyway, well, they're on the ship, and Jim one morning gets up. It's before dawn, before sunrise. He gets up and goes to get an apple from the apple barrel because they have barrels of food, right? Well, he goes over there, and when he gets there, he hears Long John Silver. He overhears Long John Silver talking to somebody, and they're like, he hears him talk about treasure, and Jim's like, I want to hear what's going on here. So Jim actually gets in one of the empty food barrels and kind of pulls the lid over the top, and so he can like sit there and hear. And it's John Silver talking to another one of the um, talking to one of the crew members, and John Silver is like, um, look at my notes here. Oh, John Silver is like, I'll tell you, it's the life of a gentleman of fortune, to be on the high seas, to go wherever you want, nothing to tie you down, to, you know, enjoy yourself for reals. Gentleman of fortune is the career for me. And he's like, the guy, and Jim's like, gentleman of fortune? Like, what the frick's he talking about? And the guy goes, it does sound really exciting. And yep, he goes, and John Silver goes, yes, there are some men who are gentlemen of learning who live in universities. There are some men who are gentlemen of real estate and land. Me, I'm a gentleman of fortune. I go where I want and I takes what I want because fortune is for me. And Jim's like, this guy's a freaking pirate. Gentleman of fortune is just his nice way of saying I'm a pirate, right? And he goes, um, so if you'd like to be with us, young man. And Jim hears him explain to this, what he's doing is he's trying to recruit this guy to be a pirate with him and his crew. And Jim is sitting there like, oh, mother freaker, right? And he tells the guy, he's like, because think about it. Why are Squire Trelawney and that Dr. Livesey and that boy Jim, why are they doing this? To get treasure, right? He's like, am I doing no different? We're on the same ship. Oh, because they had enough money to rent the ship. Does that mean they should get all the treasure? No. He's like, they're no better than me. They're just legal and I'm illegal. But we're doing the same thing. We're both trying to get the treasure. So what we're going to do is, as soon as we get there, we're going to make sure that we, me and my mates, be the ones that takes that treasure. And what you may not know is that there are many more of us on this ship than them. I was sure to recruit all of my old comrades so that most of this crew is with me. And you're not the first person we've asked to join us. We've asked a few others too. A few have said no, but most of them have said yes. So be certain of one thing. If you're on our side, we've got the others greatly outnumbered. It's going to be a beautiful mutiny. Mutiny is one of my favorite things. And the guy goes, that does sound exciting. I'm with you. I'm with you. Right? And they shake hands. And then John Silver's like, let's drink on it. And he gets up, and Jim can hear him coming over because it's like click, 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 click. You know when John Silver is coming. You can hear it. So he's coming over to the barrels. And Jim is like, oh, frick. Right? Um, he's gonna if he finds the barrel I'm in, he's gonna know I know he's a pirate. And Jim's like, oh, he can't run, right? He can't pop up because Silver's right there. He can already hear Silver moving around the barrels, right? And he's like, oh shiz. All he can do is like sit there and wait, right? Silver gets to the barrel right next to him, but Jim's like, this barrel's empty. This barrel's empty. I know, right? And Silver moves the barrel next to him and gets into the one next to him, and he hears clink, 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 clink. And that's weird too because these barrels are all full of food. Like these are flour barrels and apple barrels and cracker barrels, stuff like that, right? And here's like a clink of glass. So he looks up like he hears Silver go back over and sit down by the other guy. And Jim like peeks out the top. He's got a bottle of rum. Silver and his guys have hidden a whole barrel full of bottles of rum among the food. And Jim is like, I wonder what else on this ship is not as it appears. I just found out that they've been sneaking stuff on here. I don't even know what else is on this ship that I don't know about. Well, they have their drink, and it's getting daylight. Jim can see, like, the daylight. And all of a sudden, as they're like having their drink, they hear, "Land ho! Land ho!" The guy up on the crow's nest has seen the land. They're there. And John Silver turns to the other guy and goes, "Well, what do you know? We be here. Be ready for anything, mates. Help me up." And so the guy helps him up, and he goes, because he had sat back down, sorry, to drink it. The guy helps him up, and he goes, "Be ready for anything. Today is going to be a very exciting day. Arr." And they go up top. Well, that day, everyone's up top looking at the island, and they're pulling in, right? They're trying to decide how to. This island has a few places that you could dock, right? And, well, something interesting is John Silver seems to know all about this island. They go up, and Squire Trelawney is there up on deck, and the captain, and Dr. Livesey, and all the crew are, right? They're just looking at the island. And he Jim's like, or Squire says, excuse me, I got sidetracked. Long John Silver's like, on the north part. In the north part of the island, there's an inlet. But there's also down south, you see that small island off the island? That's called Pirate Island. And off of it there's a really good cove where a ship can go in. And they're like, Dr. Livesey's like, how do you know this island so well, Mr. Silver? And it's, aye, call me Long John. Ah, Mr. Silver. Aye, Long John. But the reason is, well, I've been here before, but it's been a very long time. But I do remember I spent some good days here with some friends of mine. But it's been a long time ago, but I remember this island. Like, okay, that's true. He's been a lot of places. So the Jim then he's like, Captain, Squire, Dr. Livesey. Jim calls them all down below decks, right? And Jim tells him what he heard. Jim's like, yeah, there's a reason this guy knows this island. He's a pirate. And Jim says everything he heard and about how the guys, most of the people who are there who have been are pirates. And what the captain says is he goes, all right, well, we can only do what we can do. Let's try and he goes, Jim, tell me, I need to know the truth now. Is there any truth to this rumor of the map? And Jim's like, yeah, here it is, right? And Jim pulls out the map of the treasure. And he's like, okay, well, the pirates obviously don't have this map, or they would have come here on their own. So we have something that they don't. It's like, I'll tell you what. Let's let them go ashore. We'll let the pirates go ashore, and that way we'll know that we'll let so many of them go ashore, except for a few of them stay here, and that way we know we can overpower them here on the ship. And that way we'll have the ship with just us that are not pirates, right? All the pirates will be ashore. They'll have no idea where the treasure is, and then we'll control the situation because we'll have the ship. We'll have the ability to come and go, etc. And Jim's like, oh, that's a good idea, right? That's perfect. So he goes back up and he's like, that's going to be perfect. The pirates will all go ashore. We'll be here. They'll be here on the ship. They'll have control of the ship. Let the pirates die. They can't find the treasure. They don't have the map. So they're up there and it's a really hot day. And it's just nasty, sweaty, sticky. Like the air from the island is like stinky, like it's not a tropical paradise. This island is like disgusting, right? And Jim is sitting there and he's like, "Oh, this is so disgusting." And plus I just want off the ship, right? Jim's sitting there and he's so bored. I mean, he can see the land right there. He wants to get out and play in the sand or something, right? He's been on the ship for a long time. And so they put the plan into practice. John Silver and all of his mates get on the little skiffs, to go up to shore. And and they get on, like, they put on some supplies and some barrels, and they per standard operating procedure, right? They get their supplies on the skiffs, and they put them over with uh, canvas that has been treated to be waterproof. That's how they protected their goods on the small skiffs. And so, because the ship can't go all the way up to port, they have to go in the little ships, right? The big ship stays out, anchors, and the little ships go up. So the pirates get on all the little ships, and they put their stuff in there. And Jim is sitting there, and he's bored, and it's hot and stuffy, and he's just like, "This is boring. I want to go to the island." He's like, "They've got more than enough people here. Like, I mean, look, they've got the captain, and they've got Squire, and they've got the doctor, and they've got a few other guys that I know are on their side. And there's only like two or three of the pirates that are going to stay here. So, yeah, I'm going to jump on one of those skiffs. It'll be fun. I'm going to go see the island." So what he does is he goes over and he sneaks, and he gets underneath the canvas with the supplies and gets on one of the skiffs, and he's going toward the island with the pirates rowing. And he's like, "Yeah, this is going to be fun. Playing some sand, run around in the trees." Like, and she's like peeking out. He's peeking out, and he's peeking out looking at the island, and he looks over and he sees Long John Silver looking at him. But John Silver is not smiling like he usually does. John Silver has this really mean look, and he sees Jim, and he's like, after he has this mean look on for a second, then he like looks around and he's like, then he puts that smile back on, winks at Jim. And Jim goes, "Uh-oh. I'm wondering if this guy's smile this whole time has just been a show. I shouldn't have gotten on this boat. I'm going to be alone on the island with all the pirates. I don't think that was a very good decision."